allow the children to attend the budget.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary political, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary political, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Bó bá ṣe àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Mayegun diary political. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn àjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjò.
Máyégún ti dé.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjò.
Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀pá tó ń gba rìbá. Máyégún máa wí. Hello there. Welcome back to those who were with us earlier. Good morning to you if you are just joining us this hour. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Máyégún Live. Welcome back and thank you for joining us. Please read the caption of this broadcast, which I believe many of you have already read, right? Just make sure you read beyond the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of this broadcast. Like it. Share it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And tell them that Máyégún today, Máyégún is live. Tonight, we will continue the digging deep into the rot that Dele Farotimi's piece has exposed. It is like the opening of the can of worms of the rot in a system that should have been the last hope of the common man in Nigeria. It is lost, but it is always better to put it on record. How did Nigeria arrive at this sorry, precarious state? How the supposed people who are supposed to uphold the rule of law in that contraption sold off and gave us a contraption where law or justice is now for the highest bidder. So thank you very much if you have been following this development. In the last 1 week, it keeps getting interesting and interesting. The rogues in power in that Nigeria, they continue to justify the reasons why a lot of people are continually to dissociate themselves from Nigeria, physically and mentally too. Dele Farotimi, an enigma, the mouthpiece, the symbol of truth, especially for this generation, the generation that has been lied to many times. Nigeria lied to us, especially us, the younger generation. We were told that if we do everything right, we will be the future of that country. But they lied to us. Majority of those who were supposed to be our role models, I am talking about in every field in that country, they are unraveling. Majority of them are criminals that were never detected or that never answered to their crimes against the generations yet unborn. But we give you thanks to the likes of Dele Farotimi, people who have been doing their own bit to enlighten us, to let us know that we might have been called Nigerians, but we do not have any citizenship of that country. We are mere subjects. There are those who are above the law, and they will always be above the law, because those who are supposed to hold them responsible have become compromised, corrupt, that they've corrupted the entire system. Institutions that are supposed to hold political class responsible, or all class of people responsible, has become part and parcel in field, in the gutter game of money, power, and irresponsibility. They have grown so old and so accustomed to this rot that they expect us to inherit a failed system, a failed country. And we must still be very proud to have come from a failed country. These are the people who don't want to be held responsible. But piece by piece, information, genuine information and facts will continue to help us to understand why and how Nigeria arrived at this current state. We celebrate criminals because their crimes have been deodorized. We are told that we should worship criminals and see them as role models in politics, in business, in other professional bodies in Nigeria. But thanks to the likes of Dele Farotimi, that their contribution, their invaluable contribution to this generation and the generation coming, we speak for a very long time, and it will be like they will be the torchbearer in this dark country that has failed us repeatedly. And yet, those who did that to us want us to respect them, bow for them, worship the ground they walk. But we won't. And that is why the lies told us about Nigeria, we must never tell our own children the same lies. We must never give our own children the false hope that there was a country, or there is a country rather. But rather, it is actually there was a country. Those who made that possible, they are being exposed now, as some of them are still here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dele Farotimi's book is now the bestseller. But the corrupt judiciary is not limited to the judges. It is an institutionalized corruption where even a retired judge exposed through our own experience. She didn't say that the judges are not corrupt, but she wants us all to know that the same way we have supposedly have the civil servants, which have ultimately turned to evil servants. In the theater of justice, in the judiciary, it's not just the judges that are corrupt. It is not just those judges that are being bribed to upturn the will of justice, to turn justice over his head and sell this judgment to the highest bidder. Majority of those who claim to be senior advocate of nuisance in Nigeria, SANS, they are a bunch of criminals, cash and carry lawyers who have no respect for the same legal profession. And some of them swore to indeed protect and make better. They are those who are buying judgments from corrupt judges, selling favors, and on to protect the criminal politicians who in turn have used that same instrumentality of law to subvert the law and subvert the will of the people, be it in business or be it in election. Who are those who are taking briefs from these rogues? They are lawyers. Sometimes I ask myself, is it even worth it for anyone to go and study law and be a lawyer in a lawless country? I do ask. But when I see the likes of Dele Farotimi, when I say the likes, it's not only Dele Farotimi that is outspoken in this whammy, in this puddle of, corruption that are speaking up. There are many others, but Dele Farotimi stands out at this point. If people like him didn't study law, maybe they won't actually see the lacuna in the system that was supposed to be the bastion of hope for all of us. We were all supposed to be so scared, right? When the will of justice that we were told that it may actually be slow, but a grind non-stop. When it comes, it can grind even the most powerful, personality that breaks any law. When the wheel of justice rolls, it may be slow, but it can be very grinding. So people like him are those who have dared the consequences, even at the cost of their own, profession, so to say, their career, all right, by speaking out. So the system has come for Dele Farotimi, and this is why a lot of people or a lot of supposed lawyers would rather zip up, not speak out. But thanks to Dele Farotimi, who has now opened the can of worms. Yeah, this may not really make any difference in the whole scheme of things. We've had so many exposés about institutions in Nigeria, about people, right? In which the supposed citizenry, right, are supposed to take advantage of all this opportunity to go for this establishment have become so docile, so lazy, so weak, impoverished beyond doubt that they could barely fight. People that could barely feed themselves. How are we sure they can fight? But this information are already radicalizing the younger generation that can no longer be lied to, that their problems are spiritual. We now know that Nigeria problem is not spiritual. If there is anything spiritual about Nigerian problem, this will be physical spiritual problems, because we know the names of those behind all of this nonsense. We know their accomplices. And indeed, a day is coming that we will come for them. If the older generation that continue to gaslight the younger generation, calling us people who have no respect for elders. Now, we have discovered that that is not a waste of a confrontation, so to say. The older generation have been part and parcel in enabling this madness. So the younger generation will no longer be gaslighted by this older generation that want us to respect criminals. We won't respect criminals. And justifiably so. We will tell our own younger ones that they should not respect criminals, whether they are pastors, imam, lawyers, son, governors, X this or X that. Once you identify the people responsible for the failure of Nigeria, we will give it to them according to their, according to their deeds. So this is why on Mayegun's Diary Political, it is to raise your subconsciousness. If you have been lied to, that it is in our culture to respect older people, just tell them. Criminals also grow old, just like the foolish people also grow old. That somebody is a foolish person when they are younger. Now that they are older, doesn't mean that they are wiser. They could probably be the old foolish people. You should never waste your respect on them. You should never be gaslighted in respecting or bowing for them because of culture. Our culture doesn't say we should respect the foolish people, right? Similarly, our culture says we should respect elderly people who respect us, who act accordingly, who act justly, not criminals who have been criminals from their childhood, from their younger age, that because they are older does not absolve them of their deed or their criminal traits. So as a younger person on Mayegun's Diary Political, it is on you never to be blackmailed, gaslighted, when you know the antecedent of these people, whether they are young or old, call them what they are. Don't bow for criminals. Don't let anybody gaslight you. Don't let anybody blackmail you, okay? Because if they question your upbringing, question their own upbringing too. If they were raised well, they won't be this evil that they have become. If they were raised properly by the proper parents, same people questioning your upbringing, question their own upbringing too. If their parents raised them well, they will not be this evil that contributed to a society that has now become a society that is now eating our own citizens. Nigeria is killing our own citizens. Nigeria is eating up our own future. We are witnessing the cover-up, generational cover-up, where the supposed commonwealth of the people have become the pastime or, has been shared among the people that were supposed to be the custodian of all of this. So on Mayegun's Diary Political, let those who earn your respect be respected, and those who disrespect you be disrespected accordingly. So a judge or a justice of a Nigerian Supreme Court who share their own experience about the rot in the Nigerian Judiciary said this. And that's where we're going to start from this evening, so that you will understand that this is an institutionalized criminal syndicates, okay? And these are the people responsible for the ruined and destroyed Nigeria. And they can never be part of those that will fix it. And you must never be blackmailed into believing that they have a role to play in fixing it. If we don't destroy this system, it will destroy us. It is already destroying us. Our future has been mortgaged. Our future has been sold off. And they are not giving up. Like I've said many times, if we don't stop these criminals, they will never stop. So we are starting with this. A judge, an ex-judge, shared their own experience on her first posting to this same Lagos, where Afe Babanla Ule, a 95-year-old crook that is now fighting for his reputation, a reputation built on lies, reputation built on manipulation, reputation built on, arm twisting the system, reputation built on fraud. That's not a reputation. And we are happy that the younger ones that they were grooming us, grooming to possibly worship them and call them our heroes past. In my own opinion, Nigeria have no heroes past, especially for those of them who have been in one place of authority or the other. They do not have any sort of a good past that will make you call them heroes. These are villains. These are criminals. Some of them escape justice. Some of them are escaping it right now with their different cover-up. Listen to this. A former justice of Nigeria shared their own experience with those who are not judges. So they were not judges of court. So they were just registrars. They were supposed to be civil servants in the court of justice. Listen.
Get here, put these things right, the next station, the next September, I moved again to another division. I was presiding back and forth. Then I ended up in Lagos. In all those other divisions, because, when Nigerians are very, very good at assessing their bosses. They have, if you're going to work this way, you want to do it. If you want to go straight, they will go straight with you as long as they know that you're straight. If you want to go like that, once they see that you want to go like that, they will even go, you may do it 1 yard, they will do 10 miles, depending on you. But once they want to do, they know you have to do it, they would. So my reputation would precede me, I would say. So everybody will behave themselves once I'm there, because by the first people I deal with are those in my office. You mess up, I deal with you. That's when they realize, oh, if she can touch her personal stuff, okay, everybody. Then I got to Lagos. After a few months of trying to put the place together, they sent me a message that they should tell me that if I think that I can come and touch them here, I'm joking. They will show me that anyway, they sent me a message threatening me about 9 months after I got there. And I keep telling the story of how I looked at myself that year, first day of Ramadan of 2013. And I'm like, they're threatening me? And it was like, what do I do? When you're so used to people obeying and doing them, and then somebody decides to take you on. I mean, you could imagine how I was thrown in my chambers. What do I do? Fortunately, the presiding at the PCA, Honorable Justice Bulkachuwa, was in town, and she left a message that I was the only one who could see her. So I went to see her and directed the whole, I was having with her. And the threat they had given me, I called the people, I took the registrar, DCR, who told her exactly what was happening. And the bottom line is that after I spoke to her and all that, I went back to my chambers. One thing they don't tell you about civil services, as long as it's not in writing, nobody's going to do anything about anything. And we don't report. Nobody wants to be the one to bail the cat, to actually put things in writing, to complain against this, that, or the other. I went back to my chambers. I asked for all the staff, my staff, and who and who, in what department, how long have you been there? The registry, where they sent me this message, was now, I discovered that about 20-something of them had been in the registry for 36 years. Do you know what? Registry for 36 years. They're changing jeeps. They are changing everything, because when we're talking of the judiciary, everybody looks at the judges. They look at the judicial officers. They forget the staff that runs the whole place. That the lawyers have to file papers, that the papers have to come to everything has to be done before we come to sit in court. So they blame the court, they blame the judges, they blame everybody without looking at the staff that have to run the place to put things together before those files are put there. So I had a system where, can you imagine a young lawyer who had met a young registry staff in the registry where you file your papers? 36 years later, they are SANs, they have big men, and these people are still seated there. So when they want a case to go on, they know how to do it. If you don't want a case to go on, they will just hide the file, or the papers are not there. Now we are overworked. I go into court, you have a cost list of about how many cases to do. When they tell you, hey, what about, my lord, I have an application, where is it? It's not in the file. Why is it not in the file? Bailiffs has not served, or if they have served, oh, we can't find it. What do? We are overworked. It's a case of take an adjournment. An adjournment can take you another 2 years. And what has happened? One of your lawyer on the other side has bribed the staff there to remove the process so that you will get that matter done. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I now attached all of it and wrote SOS that my registry had collapsed. This is what has happened. They've been working there. They don't have any digital sense. So 23 people have worked for 36 years in that place. 20 people for 34 years. From all of them, about 100 and something had been working there between 20 and 34 years in the registry. So I sent out this, I wrote this thing, attached everything, and wrote, the PCA acted on it, and before you knew it, 16 of them had been, from Lagos to Yola, to Ilorin, to Gombe, to wherever. They were now thrown out. So I later saw the head of admin and asked him, how did you know the 16 people that you removed? He said, we've always known them. We've always known the ringleaders, but they had godfathers. You couldn't have reported it. But since you had now put it in writing like that, they had something to act on. They had something to act on, and we know them, so they get here.
They always know them. When you walk into any government office, you will see a lot of people that have been there in a particular position. They do not want any transfer, any career progression, no nothing, because that spot is like the gold mine in that department. They are those that will decide if your case file, your application for something is to move up or to remain in the same place or go missing. The judges can meet, right? They can meet at their own usual coven somewhere. But you see, the Ministry of Justice, the court registrars, they have their own form of like a coven as well. And there are lawyers, okay, who knows this and enables it. To the point that from what she said, there are actual lawyers that will go in there against their fellow lawyers. It's like two lawyers defending, one defending this person, maybe it is the appellant, and this one is a defendant or so. So you can make this person's file disappear through the registrar in court by paying the right money. Or you can have them delay it for as long as you want. This is not even like you now approaching the judge to bribe the judge. That is left for senior lawyers like Afe Babanlaole, Ola Nepekun. Like these guys, they are always known. For example, Ola Nepekun is considered, after this Afe Babanlaole, Ola Nepekun is considered Mr. Fix-It of Nigerian Judiciary. If you have any governorship tribunal case in Nigeria, if you can't talk to Afe Babalola to pay him, go and look for Olanipekun. You see, these two, they are like veterans when it comes to using their influence. You know why? Because some of the people who have passed through their tutelage have become ministers of justice in Nigeria. You get that now? And if the minister of justice called a judge, put it this way, if Afe Babalola calls a minister of justice, if he can't get through, which is a real one, if he can't get through to a judge to manipulate the judge, he can get through to the minister of justice. And the minister of justice will get through to the president of the court of appeal, or the president, the chief justice of Nigeria. And through these two, they can manipulate anything in their favor. If you can pay the right money. I want her to finish. Then I'm going to add more.
And we know them, so they now threw them all out. Now, these 16, all their godfathers, and guess what happened? Somebody talked today about women. I was presiding Justice Lagos. Justice Bulkachuwa, a woman, was the president of the Court of Appeal. Justice Aloma Mukhtar was the CJN. Their godfathers were now rendered, what's the word? Oh. And it's like, who was going to come and they moved, you know what they call moved, and all of them, their godfathers, so-called godfathers, Justice Augie, me, to go and meet her. So that is how, what they call Magana Yakari, that's the end of it. Before you know it, everybody had fallen in line. How did you know the 16? They knew them. And they said they also knew the ringleaders, and that, yes, those who were being misled found their way back. And a year later, come and see all these people. When my son had him, I see all of them in my house, bus load that came for naming ceremony, and I said, I remember telling a friend, a year ago, these people wanted to kill me. He said, what do you mean they wanted to kill you? You're the one who came here to destabilize all their business and everything. And then after some time, when they discovered that, well, if they can't kill you, they might as well join you to do things. So we are a wonderful people. Any of you who has ever had to work with staff that are that are hardworking, they know what to do and everything, it all comes from leadership. It all comes from let us do the right thing. It comes from standing up when they look at you and know we have to do the right thing and be able to report it, to be able to take the civil service rules and act upon it. But if I and my registrar decide to start making money, bail money, come and, like I told somebody, the day your registrar comes to you and say, Amina, how now? What does that mean? They are already telling you that me and you are in that business. But if I respect myself, how dare you come to now talk like that? Anyway, the bottom line, like all of us are going to say, for reforms to happen, we need to have a paradigm shift. We need to be able to train our people. And I still keep talking about the judicial justice sector. We need to have specialized schools. Judicial colleges, just like you have TV college. We need to have people that from secondary school know, like you have lab technology, you have all those things that we are going to go to the judicial sector. We are going to be trained in whichever way it is to be able to do that. For now, too many godfathers putting people that don't fit into the place we have round pegs in the square holes. And then I also want to tell you, and then I round up on that sector. I was on that panel, the first panel that removed Ngige and put Peter Obi that time. I was on that. That's the first time in the history of this country that the courts acted and removed the governor. No, that's not the story. The thing is that before then, the politicians didn't really know the power that the court had until that case came up, and then after that, come and see floodgate. And then what do we have? Politicians are very strategic. They are very, you start looking at a young person, let me not say girl now, but a young person, you have your people now. The next thing is how do we put them as judges into all this? Not just at the High Court, but move them up, move them. We have to have our people that we can call to go. This is where the whole thing started. This is where that whole have judicial officers that don't have the passion for the job. They are not trained for the job. To be a judge takes a particular mindset. It's not anybody that can do that job. And don't forget that as a judge, I can't talk like this if I was still in service. Because where will you even see me? Where will you even see me to say that, oh, I would... the Honorable Minister Bagudu is here. I mean, he was my governor of Kebbi. I had not yet been sworn in. I went for Dr. Z, his wife's medical outreach, which I had been attending for years. So I hadn't been sworn in. I showed up at the event here in Abuja. Before you knew it, petitions that I'm going to be sworn in as Justice of Supreme Court. I'm already with what was PDP then or something next. You know, that was, baptism of fire that told me that after that, you can't even see me anywhere. Then you have SANs. To be an SAN in this country, you need to have a certain number of cases at the High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. So cases that shouldn't even be in the system are now piled up. The courts are overworked because these people want to be SANs and need to have this case. So even if their client can't pay, the SAN is ready to pay all the way up there. I'll get as long as I have the required number of cases. So we do have a problem. We need justice sector reforms as badly as any other sector, and I rest my case there.
Thank you, Honorable Justice.
And we know.
Thank you so much. I am very much happy that when she said, all these things I am saying now, I could not say them when I was in service. According to her, the politicians who eventually bastardized the judicial system in Nigeria back in the days, you can never, or you must never see any judge in the gathering of politicians. You will barely see judges in the open, because automatically you are considered somebody who is going to compromise, right? So according to her, the first time that the politicians realized the power of a judge in Nigeria was when they removed Ngige for Peter Obi after proving his case of rigging that took place in Anambra back then. It shook Nigeria. So what did the politicians do? They saw an opportunity to make their own wives, their sons, their daughters, their girlfriends, their family members to become judges, nominated them, pushed them through the system so that they could use them to secure favorable judgments, which over the years, this was like 15 years in a row. Today, politicians have their children, their wives in charge of different courts, issuing different edicts, judgments in the favor of the party that their husband, their wives belong to. And that, as she rounded it up, normally should have prompted a judicial reform in Nigeria. And if there should be a real reform, that simply means that thousands of those who have become judges, from the magistrates to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal, and to the Supreme Court, will not only be relieved of their positions, they will be probed and jailed. There's a Senator Bulkachuwa. She mentioned Bulkachuwa, Justice also Bulkachuwa. That's the wife. That was the president of the Court of Appeals in Nigeria. Guess what? When she was the president of the Court of Appeal in Nigeria, which was like a position where he influenced who became justices for the Court of Appeals in Nigeria, he used this same position to help her husband. Her husband, who happened to be Senator Bulkachuwa, for years, he's been in the Nigerian Senate. Last year, he unmasked what he has used, used his own wife to achieve in protecting the fraudulent elections, rigged elections of his own colleagues that could have been booted out through the courts. But because his wife was the president of the Court of Appeal, he was able to secure favorable judgment for these rogues who ended up being rubber stamps for the executive in Nigeria. Senators, governors, reps, House of Assembly, name it. It was like as if a witch was confessing to her crimes when Bulkachuwa was giving his valedictory statement last year, that I am so grateful to my wife for tolerating me because I had used her to secure some of you here who are here today. You will not be here if not because of my wife. Let me take you through that. Still exposing the judiciary, that the democracy, demonstration of grace that you call democracy in that contraption has brought upon Nigeria, which has now denied justice. Now, justice is pretty much for the highest bidder in Nigeria. If you can pay the price, then you will get justice. If you can't, then you take the boot. And this is the society that APC, people destroying people, they are bequeathing to us, the younger generation. They are older now. Listen to this.
Distinguished colleagues, I remain Adamu Mohammed Bulkachuwa, representing Bauchi North Senatorial District. It is a moment when we have to say probably goodbye to each other. For those of us that are not returning, we will still be around and we might keep on meeting again and again. For those who are going to be engaged on at the 10th Senate, well, I wish you luck. And Mr. President, you know, we have come a long way from 1999. And, Susuan is not there, unfortunately. We have come a long way since 1999. And when we met again, 2019, there were so many strange faces to me. Strange faces that are not really or too strange, because many of us here, we have met informally and we had some confidential dealings of one sort or the other between us, and they sought for my help, and I did my best, and in most cases I succeeded, and they have thanked me for what I have done with words of mouth. That was all. But I am very happy that since that time we became good friends and we remain good friends. My political history has been very simple but challenging. Since I retired voluntarily from the civil service, from the diplomatic service, only to come back to my constituency and take part in politics, I have been, believe me, all on my own. On my own because, for some odd reason which I cannot comprehend, all the governors of my state, including those I helped to climb to that position, never supported me for whatever political office I bid for. But I am so grateful to Almighty Allah that Almighty Allah has always been on my side. And I have succeeded, won my elections, despite the opposition from the executive, from the state. And I am sure many of those who knew my role in APC or CPC before APC would wonder how I started from that side of the Senate and ended up on this side, for which I don't regret. They wonder, why would I take such drastic decisions? And I think Mr. President is one of such people who never still believed that I really crossed the carpet to this side. But my reasons were very simple. Since I never enjoyed the support of the party leadership in APC, even for them to recognize my...
Chief Whip, you yourself, you are not helping matters now.
They never recognized my role as stakeholder and mover and shaker of APC, a founding member, and they thought I was indispensable. Yes, nobody is indispensable. But I made it clear to the leadership of the APC that if you don't recognize the value of any political actor, you would soon come to realize his nuisance value. And I tried to prove that to APC. That's why, first of all, I moved to this side. Second, and I promised the leadership of APC that I will mess APC up in Bauchi State. And I'm proud to say I have done that. I've succeeded.
You can round up. Distinguished Senator Adam Mohammed Bulkachuwa, please round up. You have less than 1 minute to round up.
Taken 10 minutes. And why should you respect me? Because I can cross-carpeted?
No, I don't want anybody to interrupt you or disturb you. So just round up.
Mr. President, at my age, I don't think I will lobby anybody under the sun. I would do the right thing, and I always do the right thing, and sincerely and honestly too. So, I know, I look at faces in this chamber whom have come to me and sought for my help when my wife was the president of the Court of Appeal. And I'm sure
Distinguished Senator Adam Mohammed Bulkachuwa, I think I will advise that you just round up and take your seat.
Name any names. We know ourselves.
No, but this kind of insinuation will mean that there was favor, there was this, and the rest of it. I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I must say that, okay, to round up, since that's what you want me to do, I will do that. And I must thank particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office. And she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues.
Distinguished, please, I don't think this is a good idea, go in this direction. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, please.
She's not there. Well, Mr. President, I will say thank you and I will sit down. Thank you.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
thank
shall I
you,
say?
Lord.
Thank you, Says thank you, Lord. He said it. Before I will sit down, I will say it. A lot of you came to me, and my wife tolerated you by helping all of you when she was the president of the Court of Appeal. So tomorrow, when we will complete the reading of Dele Farotimi's book on the roles and actions of corrupting the Nigerian judiciary by Afe Babalola and co., just remember that there will be more to be exposed. There is already evidence of how Afe Babalola used his chamber. What is it called again? Emmanuel Chamber or something. Used his law firm to share money, $1.2 million in a space of 8 years in buying different judgments for politicians or for businesses, especially politicians, in different courts in Nigeria. That is the common saying. Afe Babalola will take care of it. Have you been to Afe Babalola's chambers? Say, no, sir. Go and see Afe. Afe Anyojue. Afe will take care of it for you, as long as you can pay the price. He made so much money that he became a billionaire from that corrupt system, from buying judgments in what they called their legal track record. The same thing that if it was a country like America right now, they would have possibly set up a legal, a legal panel to investigate all the cases handled by Afe Babalola in the last 50 years, from the preliminary to Supreme Court of Nigeria. They will probe every case. And guess what? There's a chance that more than 80% of them were fraudulently procured judgments. Something that Dele Farotimi's book seems to be doing a justice to. And from where that came from, there is more from there. And I promise you, on Mayegun's Diary Political, we will dig as much as we can, fact for fact, present them to these viewers and the generations that need to know, how did Nigeria arrive here? How did Nigeria become this lawless country? There are sons, sandpapers, senior advocate of nuisance, who have corrupted the system so much that it has become the norm. It has become the norm. Now, you will be sounding pretty much like a stranger to them when you begin to question them. They will just look at you and be like,
Is this one JJC? Are you new? It's not new now. I mean, there's esprit de corps. Esprit de corps means that you have to cover this whole thing up. You are not supposed to speak out. And the man that is unraveling this, getting all of us interested, the great author, Dele Farotimi, the writer of the bestseller book, has done great justice to this. And tens of thousands of this book is now in the hands of tens of thousands of people who are now realizing that, yes, we know Nigeria is corrupt, but this one is like an extra corruption. And there will be more to be unraveled. And that is why today is being tried for what they called the defamation before, but they have now turned that into what they now call cyberbullying, cyber stalking of Afe Babalola. So the Nigerian police is now defending Afe Babalola. They put curves on a man, the truth teller, the man that has exposed them so much and is not saying anything new. Dele Farotimi is not saying anything new. A lot of you know all these things anyway. You knew about all these things before now. So what is Dele Farotimi saying that you have never heard before? Or is it the way he's saying it? Oh, he published a book, fact for facts, not fiction, not make-up stories. Rather than them to man up and actually face him, especially those people he mentioned, they resorted back to the same style that he exposed, the corrupt system that will always shield the rich and powerful from the law or facing the justice, the consequences of the action. The same thing he wrote in the book is exact thing they are now doing to him. A system that could put a cuff on the truth teller, and they had a thief as a celebrity. Yeye Bello stole 110 billion naira from the people of Kogi State. He is a celebrity, right? But a man that decided to tell the world, tell all of us, especially the younger generation, why Nigeria is what Nigeria is, and why your citizenship as Nigerian doesn't exist. You are merely subject. We are merely subjects. So all you have to do to become somebody is to find your way into the circle of criminals that will shield you. And then you can make some blood money, spread it around, become a philanthropist, right? Loot the people, then share a tiny bit of it so that you can be protected. Justice. No. You can buy justice. And that is why in that contraption today, you will see some of these Ronukus, these ones that their futures have been mortgaged. They will praise the man on the right, okay, a thief, and they will call for the head of the man on the left, Dele Farotimi. I'll leave it at that and go to something else again. This morning, George Akume, another criminal from Benue State. George Akume is the secretary to the government of the Federation, appointed by Thiefnubu. He issued a statement. It's not even a statement, it's actually a warning. He was warning the northerners. I don't want to say northern leaders, the northerners, who are complaining so much and bitterly about Thiefnubu, that they should better tread carefully. All this idea of trying to remove Thiefnubu and replace him in 2027, it could be a catalyst to the breakup of Nigeria. The SGF of Nigeria just warned the region that Nigeria may come to an end in 2027 if northern Nigeria continue this their push that they want to remove Thiefnubu. Because according to him, the unity or the existence of Nigeria depends on Thiefnubu spending his 8 years uninterrupted. It is not like the people have to decide, normally, right? Like, there's a chance that the northern Nigeria are getting to that stage of resistance, a particular resistance that they mounted against Goodluck Ebere Jonathan in 2015, where Jonathan absconded when he said, my election, there is no blood of Nigerians that is, my election is not more valuable than the life or the blood of any Nigerian, which means I am not going to go for blood like this APC. Ebekebe are making the 2015 elections a do or die. So he threw in the towel by letting them have their way. 9 years after, Nigeria is worse off. Now, a southerner is there now who rigged himself in. A man that never won any election. A drug baron, drug dealer. A drug addict himself. A certificate forger. Election rigger. And treasury looter. Thiefnubu. Now, for those who are already benefiting from Thiefnubu, Nigeria may be going through some hardship, but it is not worth you having a say in removing an incompetent, corrupt government. Rather, you will have to endure him for the next, how many years left now? 6.5 years. Or else, Nigeria will break up. So that sounds like something interesting. You see, there are so many of us who believe that, except for the fact that Nigeria is a turn-by-turn Nigeria Limited, where everybody is waiting for their own turn. Since Thiefnubu said, Emi lokan, Yoruba lokan. It's unfortunate, though, that the Yorubas, who share the same ethnic nationality with Thiefnubu and his gang of thieves, they are facing the worst of the economic downturn in that Nigeria today. More of our children are now out of school. A lot of our people can no longer afford their medical bills, even though the whole ruined Nigeria started from Bokwari. But now people know better. That when Thiefnubu said Yoruba lokan, Emi lokan, he wasn't referring to the Yorubas. He was referring to himself, his friends, his family members. And so to that, a lot of them are now kind of like a sharing in the largesse. They are enjoying this ruined Nigeria, piling up debt, devaluing your currency, creating more job losses, unemployment. But they are feeding them with propaganda, though. Yeah, a lot of our people are now getting to that stage of kwashoko. The kwashoko is that they are getting big bellies, big heads, tiny arms, tiny legs, tiny laps, like a grasshopper, whereby hunger won't finish them. But why are their bellies becoming protruding like the kwashoko? Because now propaganda that they feed them, to the point that some of them are even blaming themselves for why Nigeria is what it is. It is our fault. We are all supposed to live within our means. They even told them that when they were able to afford a liter of petroleum, when so many of them were able to actually pay their bills, they said, no, that was a fake life then. So it is not. The Emilokon is now actually for the Yorubas. In fact, in all honesty, there's never been any president, whether military or civilian, in Nigeria in the last 64 years of Nigeria that has lifted their own people out of poverty. They would rather dip them more. Let's start from that year, 1960. Well, probably briefly when you had the regional system of government, there was a bit of a shared prosperity, right? But since after 1966, when everything entered canal, and since then it has become the turn-by-turn Nigeria Limited, there is never any single one of them. Out of 64 years of Nigeria, the northern Nigeria has ruled Nigeria for 47 years. And guess what? By the time Thiefnubu is done in 2027, the southern Nigeria would have ruled for 17 years. 17 years out of 64 years. But guess what? The northern Nigeria remains the poorest part of Nigeria. It also remained, right, the educationally backward part of Nigeria.
the most terrorized part of Nigeria, unfortunately. But guess what? Again, their political elites who have been so sort of addicted to power, right? They have become stupendously rich, generational wealth from the stolen wealth of the rest of Nigeria. Unfortunately, again, they've never impacted positively in the lives of their people. So yeah, fear that they feel like since Nigeria returned to democracy, demonstration of grace, right? 26 years ago, the southern part of Nigeria by 2027 would have ruled Nigeria for 17 years. In fact, it's 27. 27 plus, anyway. Yeah, they would have ruled Nigeria for 17 years. Obasanjo, 8 years. Egbere Jolantan, 5 years. That's 13. Thiefnubu, 4 years. That would have been 17 years, right? And in that same period, the northern Nigeria has ruled for 11. So, Thiefnubu is failing. Nigeria is crumbling. So, how dare Akume, let's even take the north or the south, how dare Akume try to tell us that Nigeria will break up if Thiefnubu does not get a second term? I mean, I understand the fact that Athiefku, the most greedy, selfish politician in Nigeria, the man that because of his own selfishness, self-centered interest, his own greed, plunged Nigeria into this political quagmire. They bet APC. Athiefku wanted to be president. And he couldn't be patient enough for Goodluck Egbere Jolantan to do his own second term. If he had allowed him, Athiefku would probably be your president now. Rounding up, he will be in his second, I'm just saying, in his second term, right? But because of his greed and selfishness, he teamed up with a jihadist, a terrorist sympathizer, Boko Haram. They teamed up with a drug baron, a treasury looter, certificate forger, a hooligans, regional touts, Thiefnubu, and they formed APC, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, Akpanyo People's Congress, all promises cancelled. They formed that only for him to lose out to Boko Haram. 8 years after that, Athiefku wanted to be president again. And he still wants to be president again. So if Nigeria will break up because of the northern Nigerians' greed, so be it. I'm interested in that. But Akume is not the type that will use Thiefnubu's failure as a bargaining chip. I want to see them fight. I want to see them tear themselves apart. You remember on this platform, we believe that the corrupt system you have in Nigeria, the establishment, that seems so much like impenetrable. That seemed like they have captured the people through their state capture. That seemed like the people have become so powerless. I said on this platform, and I believe that they will self-destruct. They will get so they will feel so powerful. Remember PDP? PDP used to tell people that they will rule Nigeria for 50 years uninterrupted. That was how powerful they felt. That was how invincible they felt. But they could only do it for 16 years. The moment they started their own self-destruct button, they destroyed themselves. Up to this moment, they have not recovered. The same PDP has created Wiki, somebody who has become the Omuale of PDP. They said, if a house is peaceful, now because say the Omuale inside that house is yet to grow, Wiki has grown from a street tout to local government chairman, then to a chief of staff in Rivers, to a commissioner of education state, and to the governor of Rivers, and now to the minister of FCT. The Omuale of PDP has grown, and he has so much money. So today, PDP that once told us that they will rule Nigeria for 50 years uninterrupted, they only lasted 16. Obasanjo, that tore his own membership card in protest against the advice he gave to Goodluck Egbere Jolantan in 2015. Obasanjo, a greedy, selfish man as well, right? The one who had a chance of putting Nigeria on the path of true federalism, but because of his own selfishness and greed,
for power, right, punished Nigeria with a sick man, Yaradua, who died in power. The same Obasanjo wanted Sule Lamido to become the president by returning the power to northern Nigeria in 2015. Jonathan disagreed and stopped picking Obasanjo's call. Obasanjo started writing letter. And at the end of the day, Obasanjo went for drug dealers, thieves, other criminals, strange bedfellows to form APC. He didn't join, but he motivated them. He backed Bukwari. Last, they rubbished him. They rubbished Obasanjo to the point that he is not recovered from that since. He stopped writing letters because nobody was picking his call, nor reading his letters. He became almost as useless as tissue paper. So, fast forward to 2024, Akume and gang are now warning the northern Nigeria. Nigeria will break. If anybody tried to remove Thiefnubu, I want it to break. Remove Thiefnubu. Scatter everything. Let's see how that plays out. So they send somebody, is it Payosibe or something, to channels to reply Akume in his words with Shehu Kimbaloye this evening.
The thought of Mr. Athiefku Abubakar. You speak for him.
Well,
the voice of Paul is the voice of Athiefku.
Well, even if it's not the voice of Athiefku Abubakar, the voice of Paul Ibe is also the voice of a Nigerian citizen. And so I'm a stakeholder. And I think, I've been thinking hard, what may have informed what the SGF, said. Because the last time that I checked, that was not part of his job prescription. And you see why they are failing at this job of governance. It is because they are focused on politics. Why must we reward a student who, did not pass his examination? Why must we reward him with promotion, her with promotion? And it appeared that Akume's, job in that particular interview, was very clear. Kidnap, the aspirations of Athiefku Abubakar and any other northerner. And that was very responsible of him, to say the least.
Is Athiefku Abubakar still intending to run in 2027?
That is not the issue.
But it's an issue, though.
It's
an issue.
No.
Is Athiefku hoping to run in 2027? You can't put the cart
before the horse.
And which is a cart and which is a horse now?
Listen, Shehu, the country is at crossroads as we speak. Look at the indices. Look at food inflation. Look at inflation. Look at the cost of doing business. Look at the life of the average citizen. I mean, must we be playing politics with their well-being? That's why I said you can't put, the cart before the horse. We can't be talking about aspiration, but I think it was irresponsible of the SGF to have gone on national TV to, so to say, kidnap, the aspirations, the ambition of northern leaders. I mean, he's not qualified.
But is it fair to say, after Buhari spent 8 years in office, it is natural for a southerner to, because that was the agitation and what some northern leaders within the APC actually were fighting for. And that was what caused the kind of upset or the kind of ruckus in your party, in the PDP, as to those who believe that how can a northerner, after 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, succeed another northerner?
It is wrong to assume that the whole of Nigeria is either about the APC or even maybe the PDP. If the IGF had put a caveat that he was speaking, what he was referencing, affects the APC, we can understand that, but not the whole nation. Listen, let me even break it down, for you. The 17 years versus 11 since 1999. The 16 years of PDP, the South has ruled for 13 years. The North for 3 years. Under the APC, the North has ruled for 8 years. The South, President Thiefnubu, 2 years. By 2027, 4 years. And when you sum all that up, there's still a balance of 6 years, 1 term and a half. The South will rule for 17 years, and the North for 11 years. When you minus 11 from 17, you have 6 years. So when we're talking about equity, you must come to it with clean hands. The thought of
I write. Athiefku is 78 years old right now. By 2027, Athiefku will be 81 years old. And Paul Ibe even added that age is not an issue. Athiefku is healthy. Athiefku is this, that. Some of them are even saying that they should pair Athiefku and Peter Obi together, like they did in 2019. The obedient are saying, why not the other way? Obi and Athiefku. Make Athiefku be vice president. They said Obi is consulting, all right? And that they will try that ticket again, that combo. That Athiefku will only do 1 term of 4 years. It's been war on social media in the last 2-3 days. The articulators, the articulated mugus, the articulated morons, they have been at loggerheads with the obedient. The same obedient they blame for Thiefnubu's emergence. They say it was because Peter Obi left. That was why Athiefku lost. Not because these clowns. I have this image. I want to share it. In fact, I had to share this image just to remind us, right? So not because these clowns, the G-string clowns, where Werewike was their chairman. Remember the G-string clowns? These 5 clowns that were having their ashwebi all the time. Remember them? This Soloma Kende Ibadan, Dr. Musugomu of Benue. Then, what did this guy, where they may do again from Abia? I mean, sorry, from Enugu. Sorry, from Abia, with the wiki. Then, Buruburu, I mean, what did they call this one? So these clowns that worked for Thiefnubu, by the way, the guy in the middle is going to become an ambassador. They won't give him ambassador. I don't know which country. Okay. So they won't give this other one. We come from Abia as well. They won't give him governor. Ekpeazu, God bless you. His name is Ekpeazu. You see these 2 guys, the one in the middle and the one on the far right. Thiefnubu won't make them ambassadors. I don't know to what countries. Okay. No thanks to Werewike. These are the people that publicly, openly, ensure that not only did they work against Athiefku and PDP, they ensure that Athiefku was not allowed to campaign in their states. But the articulators, the articulated mugus, the SPV boys, they have been at loggerheads with the obedient. Anyway, so they are telling themselves that Athiefku will do 4 years, 1 term, and he will hand over to Obi. And people are saying, in what political party or what have you? So when they ask this Paul Ibe, Athiefku is getting old. I say, no, he's very healthy. And if equity and fairness, the Northern Nigeria has only ruled in this democratic dispensation for just 11 years. They deserve to have 8 years to balance it. And then everything will balance again. And then they can, listen.
Fair. I don't think it's fair. Let me say that, do you see that, or what are you inferring that it is the time of the North in 2027? Is that what you're saying?
Listen. You see, why the desperation of the Thiefnubu administration? We'll be talking about 2027. when they have not concluded 2024, 2025 beckons, and 2026, 2 more years to impact on the lives of Nigerians. Why are they so desperate? And every calculation is focused on 2027. So the question is, when will they have time for governance? The nitty-gritty of
My
governance.
question is that, are you saying that the North should be the one to have the chance in 2027?
Why should they not? Why should they not?
You're saying it's a turn of the North in 2027?
I'm not talking about turn. I'm not talking about turn.
Because the balance of power
even if it is turn by turn, let's assume, for the purposes of argument, that it is turn by turn. What we are getting now, is that the best that we Southerners have to offer?
You're making reference to President Bola Tinubu?
That's right. I'm making reference to him.
That's the person Nigerians voted for.
Voted?
You don't think that?
So Nigerians also can unvote him, can they?
If they so wish, isn't it?
That's right. So why is Akume, trying to kidnap the aspirations of other people?
So you've not answered my question, Mr. Ibe. Are you inferring that is the turn of the North in 2027?
What I'm saying is that the North, and if President Thinubu so desires, have a right, constitutional right, to present themselves, for an election. It is up to Nigerians to decide.
The North precluding Athiefku or including Athiefku?
Why will you preclude a citizen? Why? On what basis?
And you've not answered the question whether or not your principal could be on the ballot.
Why wouldn't he?
Does he still have the intention?
It's not about him having the intention. What I'm telling you is that it is wrong. It is wrong for SGF Akume to have kidnapped the ambition of other people.
He's thinking,
because they are northerners.
He made an inference that age may not be on the side of your principal at that time.
What time is he talking about?
He's making reference to 2027, 2031.
2027?
He says by 2031 that your principal...
Athiefku Abubakar is very healthy. Athiefku Abubakar is very fit. Athiefku Abubakar is very sound in mind. Athiefku Abubakar is a person of ideas. I work with him on a daily basis. I know his competence.
In his 80s right now?
It's not in his 80s.
2027, he will be approaching his 80s. He's approaching his 80s right now.
We're not running up.
No, I'm talking about 2027.
Donald Trump, who just won election with a landslide, mandate, is 78. It's not about age. I mean, let's not... we've had young people given opportunities in this country.
Fair. I don't think it's fair.
I'm highly disappointed of Nigerian government because the Nigerian government were highly disappointed in them due to foreseen circumstances. Definitely, I'm one of those people are proving people should die in coronavirus is more better than people should die in hungers. Hunger kills more than coronavirus because some people are less privileged. Due to foreseen circumstances that I said it, some people are less privileged, which they are based on daily pay, which are not even based on salaries. But our government thinks that the lockdown is the best solution to coronavirus and proving it to an extent and to the levels of alacrity that if someone die in coronavirus, it's more efficient to die in hunger. Because some people will be at indoor. There's no a way to make a.
Àsìkò òǹgbẹ lọ́tún lósì ẹ̀mí ò sì káàrẹ̀ Jagaban Karim.
Amen. Well, let's leave Athiefku and others now. Let's go to Edo State. Today, the supposed governorship tribunal sitting over the Edo State governorship matter, they sat for the first time in Benin City. And not without the usual drama, threats, intimidation, and violence coming from no other than the usual suspects, APC. Egbekegbe. Igodalo and his own legal team were at the tribunal.
to present, their case that PDP rigged, that APC rigged the election in favor of Monday Pobolo. While they were in there, suddenly there was this commotion outside. It was the APC. They were beating up those who were supposed to be the PDP supporters from inside court. Now, this is the inside. I will show you outside after. Camera there inside. How are you? Oh, that long time. You. How are you? How are you doing? It's really good to see you. You're looking good. This was inside. Outside, where, what is this guy named? The head of thugs in Edo State right now. What's that guy's name again? The MC Oluero of Edo State. Kabaka, Tony Kabaka, and his men, when they cited the PDP supporters outside. Oh yeah, Ere.
Who buy them? I want them buy them. They don't run. Who are they?
Inside court, when the thugs, APC, Egbe thugs arrived, and the PDP guys were easily spotted. They were all wearing t-shirts, face cap, Aswe Godalo, our mandate. We shall get our mandate, and all of that stuff, right? Stolen mandates. So the next thing, the thugs attacked them. As you have seen on the camera, nothing is going to happen to them. That one is certain. But inside court premises, there is no sacred or sanctity of the courts. They say this land is a sacred land. Oh, you must not misbehave around here. Oh, sure you get. No. So that next time, if they tell you, say, we need to go and support our candidate for Aswe Godalo at the tribunal, but Digo don't tell you if you survive today. When they say, let's go next time, you just tell them that, just tell me the result. Tell us what's going to talk for that place. This is the democracy in Nigeria in 21st century, 2024 to be precise. And I usually ask people, why do you put yourselves in this kind of a situation? Why? At the end of the day, you see those ones that are attacking the PDP. They themselves are still going to become the victims of failed government in Edo State. Save for the money they gave to them to go and do what they just did. Their lives is worth less than a penny to the people that are sending them. Every one of them, if it was PDP that was attacking APC, it's the same. For 8 years, there were PDP supporters supporting their former governor now. That didn't make their lives really better, except for whatever they were given at the time of service. After that, everybody is back to square one. And this is how the ruining class, like Dele Farotimi called them, this is how they have maintained their control over the impoverished people of Nigeria. Voila everywhere. And it is becoming a trend. Usually we would have, in fact, I have to take you to Enugu. Okay, what happened? There was this driver who was taking some, girls, some students for a program, right? And they were supposed to be like a girls' school. So the driver who was driving them to the location of, an event ran into a roadblock mounted by the Nigerian police officers. And despite the fact that they could tell that the occupants of this bus, they were students, children, that didn't spare them from the harassment, from the assault, didn't spare them from the police assault and harassment. The driver was dragged down, beaten blue-black. Even when the children were crying, the drug-addicted criminal police of Nigeria, they didn't look at their way. And this is one of the reasons why you will see people celebrate the violence of unknown gunmen. If you see what people go through in eastern part of Nigeria, the number of roadblocks, the roadblocks are not mounted because they are providing security. No, they are mounted for extortion, harassment of citizens. But this particular one got captured on camera, and it has triggered reactions from Enugu.
You people sit down here, I greet you people. If you talk, I greet you people. Sit down now. When I pass, you people sit down, I greet you people. Are you mad? I pass in the morning, they are here.
Who is this one, sir?
I wave them.
I don't understand. Let them not see you.
I'm talking to you, the way you're taking it, I slow down. You don't hear what I'm saying. I wave them. I said nobody stop them. No, I will not allow you. You are not understanding. I slowed down. They were here. I slowed down and I waved them. I don't see any stopping. I don't see any stopping. I slowed down. I waved them. Nobody stopped me.
No. They just want money. These people want money.
No, where would I be? Say as if I committed anything. Make us sure. I commit this. Let's make us sure. Come and do the place.
Biko, go share paper. Go Biko.
Leave this man. I will be very angry with you. I don't like this type of attitude. Driver, bring the paper of that money. Let me see. I have never telling me that nobody. One thing is not weird.
What is all this? Somebody in London said I want to invest it on us. Especially that one.
What happened? Why are they Why are they treating him like that? Don't beat him. Hey.
But they're just looking for fights.
Hey.
You won't break your point.
Leave me. I will do it. Let them see the nonsense Nigerian people are doing. Which can just stopping us on the way.
Give me this. The catches. I don't have things.
Oh, they shout now.
They go crack. What did the man do now?
I don't know.
They even recognize the man with the money where he pass, so they can't stop him.
Look who is talking.
Look at who is talking.
What did he say? Hey!
Jesus.
Jesus. No.
Hey,
You not fight. Don't fight now.
Jesus,
Hey, Jesus. No, don't fight. Don't fight, please. You should stop it now. You should stop it now. Why you fighting? Are you people drunk? Stop it. It's okay. Hey.
It's okay.
Stop it. Stop it. This is how you people do. Is this how you people do?
Stop taking it personal. These two people taking it personal.
So this is how you people do in this Nigeria?
Is this how they used to be?
Here. Which kind of wahala be this? Putting nonsense people as security people. I be road safety people.
But he
did not start any fight now. They're the ones that started it. This car that is passing should come out first. Can you imagine? Which kind of wahala be this? Look, I put this.
He won't pay them the 100 naira bribe, which was expected of him, despite telling them that I am not carrying passenger. I'm just like shattered the, bus, taking these people somewhere. They are students. No. They punched him. They kicked him. They did all of that, and then they dragged him to a corner. Well, currently, the supposed police public relations officer, PPRO, of Nigerian police, I've seen the video, and he's already demanded an investigation, and the guys responsible, the police officers, the criminals, are expected to be arrested and then paraded soon. When I see that, I'm going to share it with you. Everybody is angry. A lot of people are mad in that contraption. It's all because what Thiefnubu's economy is doing to everyone. Yesterday, I shared with you a drunk FRSC, is that what it's called? FRSC, Federal Road Safety Corps, right? FRSC officer who was drunk and he was driving. Then he crashed the FRSC vehicle into another road user's vehicle. And it was totally off. Like it was like dead. How could somebody this drunk be driving? And his job was to keep the road safe for road users. And then it became the danger on the road. Now, let's now turn the road. Let's reverse the road now. Okay, this time around, you have a supposed road user beating up an FRSC officer in Nigeria. How do you describe this?
One. They cover them.
Where's the man? Who arrested him? Why?
Just control.
My face.
Don't enjoy. That is about where is it? It's outside. It's okay. Leave her. Don't touch her. Just leave her.
In my office, you are beating my personnel. You are beating my staff in my office. I said release his hand. Release him now. Release him now. Release his body. Release his body. Look at my book. It's
okay. Yeah, it's okay. That way, it's okay.
Deflect all. Yes. You are fighting me in the office. I said, come, let me teach you justice. You are.
If they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it and you are not angry, they did not explain it better. They lied to you. Nobody can explain Nigeria to you. And number one, you will not gasp like, then enraged. How could you be beating an officer inside the office? They just arrested you. God knows what your offense is, right? Now you are inside their office. And you tell the officer, I'm going to enter a woman. Everybody, like, frustration in that place, right? If they play the video for that, she's been arrested now. So it is no longer just about traffic violation. It is now assault, an attack, battery on an officer of the FRSC. Everybody, it needs you. If there is a chance that you have NHS in Nigeria, where they allow everybody to go and do, mental health check, you will realize that even though you are not in the market, you are not wearing rag, you are not roaming the streets as a weary, a lot of Nigerians have touch. According to a report in Nigeria, more than 70% Nigerians have one mental disorder or the other. I am not making that up. Oh. This is a true story. Oh. I don't know how they arrive at that, but with what people are facing every day, there's a chance that that report is true. One touch or another. Because there are so many things going on in that place. It can never be any justification for people who have their mental health balance. We relook what to Nigeria. And somebody even boldly told, we're loving where we're in this country, you have to have some crazy. If you cannot get crazy, you cannot survive in this country. All of us, but they say that jokingly. When you look at all of your actions, male, female, young, old, rich, poor, you go no say it's going well out of everybody. Unfortunately, it can't be like say the lunatics have taken over the asylum. May God help you now. Because take a look at this. They told you about 2 weeks ago that the Port Harcourt refinery have started working. Initially, they told you that, don't worry, this subsidy removal is because Nigeria was spending too much importing fuel. Nigeria is wasting too much money. So the only way Nigeria can survive is for Nigeria to remove subsidy. Thiefnubu said that. And Nigerian naira can be strong. Don't worry. Once the Dangote refinery starts working, the petroleum will begin to go down. Price will begin to go down. Those who told you that last year, a year and a half ago, they are now the guys who are now preaching to you how Thiefnubu said tax reform bill is going to help you. Are you aware, by the way? Yes, that at the National Assembly, they are now sharing between $5,000 and $20,000 per House of Representative and Senator to make sure that whenever this tax bill is going to come back, Obama rebound, they go pass on, and they follow Funa won't die, more could die. To them, they don't share, they are not doing anything for because he go favor you. I've told you that before. Now they are sharing money. Have you heard about that? Anyway, Dangote refinery happened only for Dangote to now be doing promo. 970 naira per liter to marketers. And also, a liter will be sold at the pump price of 1,070 naira. So Dangote refinery did not reduce the price of petroleum. They are now telling you that, say Dangote is importing crude oil. Now here is, again, if they explain Nigeria to you, and you say you understand it, and you are not angry, they no explain it well. Nigeria is oil producing country, producing crude oil. So Nigeria will export our crude oil, and it will import the finished refined products to come and sell at exorbitant price to the people.
the refineries in Nigeria are practically like comatose, okay? Then a private refinery is built, Dangote refinery. They were supposed to stop taking the crude oil abroad. Guess what? That was the moment Nigeria started importing crude oil. Then they can, you see, see professors only explain Nigeria fine. If they are honest, that you are not going to be like, my head they bust, my ego. It is the greatest fraud that ever lived. See, this is the greatest fraud that ever existed. Nigeria. I call it Nigeria. And I call those who always believe the lies, Nigerians. Yeah? It's been 2 weeks now, right? Okay, since Dangote no work. Suddenly, the Port Harcourt refinery started working. Shouldn't that also impact? Like ordinarily, this is just like a layman to layman now, right? If the refinery in Port Harcourt is working, that means the crude oil, the refinery, and Nigeria get out. The crude oil is not imported. The refinery is not imported. So if you want to, when you know that the removal of a subsidy has caused great pains, economic downturn, hardship on the people, and you want to relieve them, now you have a refinery that is supposed to be working. The crude oil and you get them. Don't say you the buy them. But it's been 2 weeks now. Rather than for people to see the Port Harcourt petrol in the market, they don't drop another lamba in the news. Now Dubai, they buy them. Dubai will get their own refineries and their crude oil. Now they are saying that a Dubai company is now the one buying the Port Harcourt refinery products to sell it abroad. When are you actually going to really enjoy that contraption? I don't understand. But they have been running different media campaigns to convince the impoverished Nigerians, right? That don't listen to Mayegu. The refinery is working. It's okay, fine. If it is working, when is it going to have impact on the local consumption? The price of petroleum in Nigeria. How much is the liter of petrol from a Port Harcourt refinery? It's in 1,075 naira. What would be the yardstick for that? Dangote refinery is cheaper than Port Harcourt because it's GBT. Guess the people they recruited, this Olori Bruku, NLC, and TUC. They took them to one office and they said, it is true, the Port Harcourt refinery is working. Then they came outside the building, and they said, solely. Nigeria to finish. Watch them.
I should produce my police. I know your name. So the person by my immediate right is the Pegasus president and TUC president. Next to him is the General Senator of TUC, and who happened to be my boy. That I trained for the labor movement. Are you sure? Next to him is the Gupeng president and the trustee of the NLC, William. No, I don't want to talk about it. And next to him is the National Treasurer of Gupeng and the NLC chairman in River State. So, am I? Is there another person now? Yes. Okay. Fine. Alex, you can do self-introduction. Sorry. Forever, for the union makes us strong. There is victory for us. Victory. There is victory for us. In the struggle. In the
the struggle for our union. There is victory. Workers united can never be defeated. Workers united. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Our women, our strength. Our men, our ACM. Enjoyment now, forever.
It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian. It is smoke Igbo. It is take Indian.
Huh? This kind one chance when Nigeria enter with this crop of opportunists called leaders is irredeemable. And I actually wanted to feel sorry for you. But I have run out of a sorry or the feeling sorry. So there's no point for me pretending. Nigeria is irredeemable. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. So finally, there is an image of Peter Obi visiting Babalola. And people are saying he's there to do what exactly? He also visited the Nigerian Correctional Service where Dele Farotimi is locked up illegally. So we shall see how this played out from tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming to my temple, our temple of truth, tonight. And the next phase of our conversation is to take calls. And you may have the chance to also call your own contribution. But I'm going to go on a short break first to stretch my legs, stretch my body, then come back to take calls. And if you have to go, remember, make sure you like the broadcast, okay? If you have enjoyed this chat this evening, like the broadcast, share it, subscribe to my channel, right? So that, tomorrow we are continuing the reading of Dele Farotimi's masterpiece, Nigeria and its criminal justice system, tomorrow. So, and you will not be able to possibly see it if you don't subscribe to this channel. So please do. And when I come back now, I am going to pick calls. The number to call is on your screen. Follow the instruction. See you soon.
Thank you.
agbado, ewa, cassava gari, ewa. You dey speak in tongue.
The transmission line is a super highway for generated electricity and power. They could not even make a down payment for a roasted corn.
Hello there.
Hello, Mr. Maego. Good evening.
Hello, sir. Good evening. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. I know you might not be able to guess who is calling because of the number I'm using. I'm using my business line instead.
Yeah, it's a bit, but I think I'm
this
trying
is
to grab the voice. And yes, tell me, who's this?
Dami from Lagos.
Oh, dear brother. Dami, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine, and I can tell you are doing great too.
Oh, thank you very much. I am also trying,
Yeah, well, yeah, Lagos is fine. Everyone is doing good.
Okay.
And let me just say, I didn't want to call before.
Right.
But when you started showing things about what these police officers are doing, what the FRSC people are doing as well, I mean, I just had to call in and share my personal experience on Sunday.
Right. Go ahead.
And no, that was on Saturday, and as well advise people out there who are going to be coming home to just take caution because our madmen are out there already again. So I just had to facelift my car, send it to painter, bought a few things, just to put some fresh touch to the car.
Right.
So the painter took the car away from my compound and from his own workshop to where he would bake the car. So after baking, he went there in the evening to bring it back home. So incidentally, when he was coming back to give me the car, he had an impact with somebody. So that caused a lot of traffic. So the police people now came and they wanted to clear the traffic. So they ended up finding out it was the impact he had with someone that caused whatever traffic was there. What a reasonable police officer should do, like I know, is just take both of them out of the road. You know what they did?
What did they do?
The police officer started beating my car with gun. They broke my two side mirrors immediately.
Why?
I mean, are they not mad? That was the same question I asked the guy when he came and started telling me this, that. Okay, you guys had impact and you blocked the road. When a police officer gets there, the next thing I believe you should do is
to make sure that
ask them to leave the road.
It doesn't lead to any other further fisticuff. Clear the path and take the two of them away from there and clear the traffic.
But like you know, Nigeria is a place where there is no human rights. I always tell my friends that, see, listen, Libya for me is better than Nigeria. And why am I saying that? Libya is a place that if you are going to Libya, you already know that there is no human rights there. So you're already informed that there is exactly. But Nigeria is a place where they will tell you there is this, there is that, but eventually there's nothing like that. So when he told me, I asked him, okay, where is the station of the police officers? I realized there were not even any of those police stations close to this place. Maybe they were just coming from one outing or all these stupid escorts and all. But something keeps bothering my mind. You came down from your vehicle and the next thing you think of is breaking a side mirror of a car you might never be able to buy in your life.
Fix?
I don't understand.
It's like
I don't understand.
Just mad in that place and
so when I saw that lady slapping and doing all, I was very happy. I won't lie to you, because I told the guy I was happy. Whatever it is they want to charge her, let them just go.
He didn't give a damn about the consequences of her action.
Something must have happened. Something must have happened before that is happening. In fact, I told the painter when he came around and said this was what happened, you know, he was even almost crying. I had to tell him, see, whatever it is, forget about it, I'll buy another one. So I transferred money to him to get another one. And I told him to not to worry. But I was telling him that day that I only thank God I didn't follow him to that place, because if I was there, I can't even see what would happen by now. I can lock the man immediately. Like, are you high? Do you know how much my side mirrors are?
Guns, the same gun they use in breaking your mirror. You wouldn't mind at that point. Like,
honestly, I won't mind, because these are mirrors that cost over 100,000.
Chai.
You just came out of your car and broke 2 of them immediately. Like, what's wrong with you? Those mirrors could pay your salary. We know how much they are giving to you people.
Like, why
are you
so
high?
angry as a police officer? There's no self-control. You know, I mean, why are they always angry? Why is everyone always like angry in that place?
I really don't understand. So I just want to advise our people that will be coming home. See, our madmen are now out on the roads again. Play it cool with them if you can. And if you can, avoid the roads as well.
Chai.
Because, I mean, it's a dangerous place in here.
And it is December as well. And, you know, we no end up in the news as what they call the accidental discharge too. Thank you so much. And you too. This also applies to you, okay? I'm glad that you are not there when this was happening, so that you would have carried out what you wanted to do, right?
I was glad. I was also glad I wasn't there, because I would just think of how much I spent on the can. Ah, man. But then it's well, sha.
Anyway, just take it easy, okay? Take your own advice as well, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice night, Jerry.
I mean, you have a good one, eh? So, indeed, there was this guy who shared, he just came back from Nigeria. He went to Nigeria to go and spend 11 days vacation. And guess what he said? He said, he was supposed to spend 11 days with his family in Nigeria. And he ended up spending more days with the police than his own family. Out of the 11 days, he spent 7 days with the police. He was arrested 7 times by the Nigerian police. That he ended up spending more time with Nigerian police than his family. So when he returned back to his base, he shared this experience that that would be the second person sharing their their horrible experience in Nigeria, a place that you need a special kind of orientation, you know, level of education. If you are going to, especially if you have been away from Nigeria for a while. Right now, like Dami just said, you will never understand why many of them are just angry. And the transfer of this aggression can be very much like injurious, fatal. So if you are going to Nigeria, or if you are already in Nigeria from your base abroad, please remember this advice. It is free and it is golden. It can save your life. Do not argue with them. And like Dami said, if you can avoid the road, what is the essence of going back to your own country when you just have to be very careful of how you dress, where you go, so that you don't end up as a victim that the place sort of make of many of us. So please, let us take this advice seriously, right? Yeah, the line is still pretty much opened. Let me, oh, hang on, I just lost a caller there. So yes, if you are interested in joining the conversation, don't wait till the last minute until you try. So you may have your shots as early as possible. I think I'm coming on. Don't go anywhere yet.
In the time of poverty like this, the economic principle of Yusuf is what everybody should apply in his own lives. Eat little, save more. You don't know what is happening. Kese la nri lowo, makasakasa timbo. $1 was just 800 naira or thereabout a couple of months ago. Now $1 is over 1,000 naira. How much will it go? Nobody knows. Tori to nse falafulu. Ogba salary kilawa. Igberaga week. Or bera resanle like. Eat little and save more. Aye ta nje chicken kola wa yi ma. Aye shawarma ko ma. Aye ice cream ko. Mugari. Jẹ́ pọ̀nmọ́ gbàgbé táwọn dókítà sọ pé kò ní nutritional value. Kí ló fẹ́ nutritional value pẹ̀lú kíní? Jẹ́ pọ̀nmọ́ mugari orí ẹja. Wàláì kò rẹ́rìn. Bọ́n bá lọ ṣe fàlàfòlò pẹ̀lú owó ìyà ó jẹ ọ́ gbákẹ́. This is the time to save more. Kálukú ló mọ tí ń san lówó school àwọn ọmọ nísìn. I started by paying 25,000 naira per term 2 years ago. Last year, 50,000. Wallahi, this year is 100,000 per child. Now, imagine having 4 kids going to school and I have to pay over 1.2 million naira in a year. Divide my salary in a year by 2. How much will remain? Gas is in Benley. Pampers in Benley. Èmi náà sọ ọmọ bọ́ yín ra fìlà yín ra sọ. Mbo ní ká fi gbogbo yín sí ibadallah. So this is the time to apply the basic principle of economics of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Save more, eat a little. Somebody told me there is nothing to save. I told him you are a liar. Why?
I mean, it's almost like there is nothing to save, if we're all being honest. Especially now that you've got this hyperinflation. You see, the amount of inflation you have in Nigeria is completely unsustainable. Even all of us living abroad, if the inflation in this country should get to the half of what you are facing in Nigeria, you will see riot too. You will see riot everywhere. In the UK, our own inflation is, I think, is about 3.5 or so percent. Is it 3 or 2? Okay. But it is a single-digit inflation. In America, their own inflation is about 3% as well. So, Abi? 3%. In Nigeria, inflation in Nigeria, food inflation alone is officially, is over 42%. And that is just being generous. I don't believe in their stats or statistics they are sharing in that place. Because the person that asked them that my statistics will go shop, is now the Oluwole accountant that is now falsifying or doctoring the figure or doctoring the data to suit their propaganda. But in reality, Nigerian currency has lost over 1,000 of its value, right, in the last 1.5 years alone. So if you are working in Nigeria, it is like 40% of the value of that your work has been stolen from you. Let me put that into a number so that you can understand. Let's assume that you did a job and you are paid 100,000 naira for that job. The current hyperinflation you have in Nigeria simply means that your 100,000 naira in value is practically 58,000 naira. 42% of it is gone already. So what your 100,000 naira will get you, in truest sense of it, should have been or would have been just 58,000 naira worth. And even at that, it's worse. Put it this way. When Nigeria had 7.5% inflation under Goodluck Ebere Jonathan, a bag of rice was 7,500 naira. The minimum wage at the time was 18,000 naira. And then the exchange rate at the time was officially 145 naira to $1. So if you use that to cut the value of your currency at the time, so 18,000 naira was practically $140. Then Bokwari came, devalued your currency. A dollar jumped from 100 and in the black market to 199 naira to over 700 naira. Do you see that devaluation? Do you see the massive devaluation? But a minimum wage was put at 30,000 naira. So when you try to divide that by the exchange rate, so that practically was 77. Okay, I think that was like $70 or 30,000 naira minimum wage. I think it was a $78 using their own official exchange rates. Today, the minimum wage that Thiefnubu promised you since May 2024, with the devalued naira today at 1,700 naira, even though they are like using one what do you call it? One exchange platform where some people have been patronizing them, so they're getting more forex, which has now brought down the exchange rate to 1,550 naira or so to $1. Okay, but let's use that. So with your minimum wage of 70,000 naira, and then the exchange rate at 1,500 naira, let's say 1,500 naira, right? So that simply means $49. So you have more money that looks big, but the value is lesser. 30,000 naira in 2023, last year, is more valuable today than 70,000 naira. This is the hyperinflation. So if you have 1 million naira, or let me use another example now, right? Let's assume that you had 1 million naira in 2015 and you fixed it at 10% every year. So 10% of a 1 million naira will be how much? 100,000 naira, right? So 100,000 naira every year for 9 years, that will be 1.9 million naira. Are you following this calculation, right? 1.9 million naira in 9 years of APC. We see that your 1 million naira in 2015 was somewhere around, somewhere around $700. Okay. And normally, if APC didn't happen to you, right, by now, that your 1.9 million naira would have been $1,400 by now. So which means you would have made so much gain in fixing your 1 million naira in 2015. But Nigeria happened. APC, Ebekebe happened. Nigerian naira lost its value enough that 1 million naira or 1.9 million naira for fixing your money for 9 years. Okay. And if you use the dollar of then, they will say maybe $700, which should have been 1,400 to $1,300 now. But since Nigerian naira has lost its so much value, so that your 1.9 million would now be, am I even doing it right? 142, you know. So instead of you having by now maybe $1,400, so what you will have now would be 1,100 in 9 years. So it is still a loss. Okay. So this is what APC, this is what they did to you. So your 1 million naira in 2015 was somewhere around $700, put it that way. Or your 1 million naira today is $400 or $500, is it? Or $600? Yeah. So this is how much you have lost. Now the point is that APC, Ebekebe, has devalued your currency so much that what 1 million naira will buy you in 2015, you are going to possibly need, how many bag of rice could 1 million naira buy you in 2015? That's probably going to be like 100, or let's say 120 bags. Now today, 1 million naira can only buy you maybe 11 bags of rice. Did you see? I think that is practical, using the food inflation in that contraption. So this is what they have done to you. And the devaluation continues, okay? And the more they try to justify this, the more it keeps sounding more and more ridiculous. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. So it seems that our line is not really working well this evening. So that means we are going to have an early bed and early rise. You can say that, okay? So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your evening with me. Give me a sec.
The farmer will make more money. Your lunch will not be imported. Cassava gari, yes. The farmers will make money. The dinner will be cassava by
Turn the so-called Yahoo boys to experts in manufacturing and creation of chips that intercept an organ.
Well, I think somebody wanted to try if the line is working or not. So I've done my best to make it possibly work, but let's see if this works. And I think this is a CA from Atlanta. Is that you?
Yes. That's from Atlanta, 5:22 p.m. on a rainy day.
Is it raining, right? It is freezing here.
Yeah, off and on.
I can't
yes, off and on. Not cold.
It was raining.
But funny enough, it's not.
Yeah.
The funny thing is not cold today, but just rain.
Okay.
Off and on.
Well, fierce. So you want to add there something? I don't know what happened to the line. Initially, it was like bouncing calls.
Yes, I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem with the line. I think.
So it was bouncing calls, and now I think I don't know if it's working now, but I can hear you clearly. So please add yours.
Just to add to what you said. I mean, the country is it's always been people have always been angry. The policemen, army, military men, always angry. Now it's going to be worse. It will be worse, not because it's December, but because everybody is feeling the pinch of the economy. And truth be told, if a military man or a policeman has access to the gun, if you are not disciplined and not upright and God-fearing, I'm telling you, the temptation will be there for you to use it to extort people to feed your family back home. Because, that's the truth. It's going to be worse now because things are tough for everybody right now. So the angry level is going to increase. If it's 100, if it's 50, it's going to be 100% now. People are angry and hungry. Yes, people are hungry and angry. So for no reason, you see them looking for a way to either obtain you or to, not the Nigerian police and Nigerian military, that's their training.
It is practical.
They enjoy it. They enjoy showing that power because of that uniform they have, especially the military men. Once they have that gun, who are you? Do you know who I am? That is just that mentality. And I just don't know how we're going to survive because it's one incident too many. This happened today. The next day, you send that one. Thank God for social media. Only God knows how many has happened without, come to the notice of the public.
Exactly.
It's just a sad,
so many happening every day, everywhere.
So many.
That they are not even captured on camera to share.
Yes. So you can imagine somebody going home now. They warn you, if you go to Nigeria, be careful. What kind of life is this? Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Haba. What kind of life is this? Your own country, you can't move freely. You can't do anything. Don't argue with anybody. Don't do this. So don't do that.
And the anger actually rises, right? If they realize that you just come back, because that one makes them feel like, are you saying you are better? See,
you are better than us.
Police PPRO, supposedly was supposed to be the first PRO for Nigeria. Muyiwa was on social media and he said, all these people, when they come to Nigeria, they always feel like they are better than us. Something they cannot try in the country where they live.
They want to try it in Nigeria.
You can imagine the mentality. You can imagine the mentality of people.
So there is always that animosity that do you think you are better than us?
Yes.
Because you are coming from America.
Yeah.
Because you are coming from UK.
Even,
are you better?
Get
down here. Get down.
Even if you are well dressed, get it. To be well dressed now is a problem. To be well dressed now is a problem. They want you tattered. If you are well dressed, you are a problem. You put on a good perfume. Oh, okay. You wear a good wristwatch.
Yeah.
You wear a good wristwatch. A problem. I go just a crazy situation. And this Dele case.
Yep.
Like I said the last time, this government will bring its own downfall. Stop arresting people. Stop intimidating people. Just Jonathan was bad, but it wasn't like this.
No.
It wasn't like Jonathan would ignore people.
Jonathan allowed everybody to gather to abuse.
They gathered at Ojota, sorry.
No.
They were at Ojota every day. Well, let's show you back. We are still back at the by the way. Where is it now?
Ministry. He wants to take people to
every week at Ojota. Every week at Ojota, protested, marching every week. Thank you, Mayogo.
We shall see.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, CA. Thank you. That's a CA from Atlanta. Yeah. And I think
every week
Ahmed is joining us as well. How are you, Ahmed? Brother, how are you doing, Baba?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I don't know if the line is correctly or something, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah. In Lafia, I can hear you.
Lafia Kalau. Yaya Aiki, Yaya Mata.
Aiki Lafia Kalau. Yawa, Sonu. Yawa. No worry, you go. Amadebe, we go reach there. No worry.
It's gonna be time, yeah. Let them adore you, right?
Yeah, that's so.
Thanks, man.
My good, well done for your good jobs and
thank you very much.
You see about people where they go Nigeria, it's December, and I know there are a lot of people that want to go down there. Well, you see, there is one thing I've noticed about going to Nigeria. When you are going to Nigeria, that mentality that we have over here, because we are in a country that has laws that works, not like Nigeria. So the only advice we say, the advice they give people, we say, if you reach there, make you behave like them with they there. No be saying in a rough manner or something like I mean, you know yourself, but it get the way that they take handle them for that country. Only level with the thing you understand? Because I'm don't put for me kuku badun. So normal. They use power and you understand. So now that same power they see them get now the same thing we say for they try use for them when they reach that stage. Because me normal when I enter that place, okay, you na police. I know say if you they come out that kind nonsense, we go they happen. Police go stop you, won't do anyhow. And you know say anywhere we soldier go there, you go see say they no go won't do anyhow. Even though we don't run that system, we don't serve as CDB. But normally, me I deal with like some soldiers who say, friends, normal. Where we say if I don't date town, we did 247. Go I'm a shirika, I'm a service. I
compare ourselves to you.
Exactly, you understand. So I don't have Pofunarani, you understand? Anywhere I don't have Pofunarani. So sometimes they get sometimes we say it could just be like saying now only you. But being that say you as a soldier from another place again, I don't know. It doesn't really happen to me because I don't know why. Maybe because of my own profession again. You know, sometimes that kind respect they say, come on, love with the lawyer. But you know, go to show yourself. But sometimes you go gas, won't show yourself. Maybe they know say, wow, Maloshi with the gun, me go badun. You understand? That aside. With Dele Farotimi, I think all these things they are doing, they are just acting according to what he wrote, what they are what they are doing right now, according to his book, exactly what he said. So anybody Toba Lokpolo Tonru, you should have understood that what he wrote in that book is just like, it's just playing out. So you don't even need anybody to even tell you. What Dele Farotimi wrote right out there on that book is there. You can see what's going on right now. It's the same thing he said.
The way the whole thing is playing out, exactly.
Exactly. The way the whole thing is playing is exact.
They call you thieves, and you are ready. You are already playing with a goat. What do you call it? They say, you this way that they call you thief. What are you doing with a goat? You say you are playing with it. Playing with goats, but you drop the goat, Jare. That's exactly. They said they have impunity in the system. It's corrupt, and you doing exactly what he actually exposed.
You know, earlier when you did the brunch time with Maigun, there was this Adeyemi or something like that that commented. He said, Dele Farotimi and Afe Babalola are all criminals.
Oh dear.
I don't know when it be like they've been blocked because African Wahala or something said something about it. It be like they've been blocked. You know what, Maigun, sometimes, but those kind of mad people when they come this place, make they give us chance, we roast them small before now block them. If they don't drop comments,
it's because we don't want them to be causing nuisance in the comment section.
No, we go just
the pigs love to roll in the mud. And sometimes you don't want to roll in the mud with them.
Maigun, like 4, 5 of us, we just roast them small. We no go cause them on 9. Papa in generation 9 we go cause.
Yesterday, one of them said, "Why are you always painting Africa in a bad light to the world?" I was like, Amy.
Like, you know, tell and say about what do you mean?
Right? But they always like that. We always have those kind of stray people. Yeah.
African Wahala told him that you should call him so he can tell us what makes Dele Farotimi a criminal. Because obviously we know their type. We know
you get that?
When they drop comments, most especially for Facebook, when they drop comments, I know they do anything rather than to just go to their page and go and see
what they look like.
The moment you enter the page, you go see what they look for. You go don't say I want bad start now. I want bad
look at their faces.
Oh my ronu ye titi to BP lo ma pa gbogbo yin. Ẹ̀yin ronu BP yẹn òun ló ma pa yin.
These are the kind of miserable people some of you are replying online. So when you see them, when you look at them, you just have to make sure that you save yourself the whole stress. You know, they are the bad star, the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis. You know what I mean?
Maigun, we they follow them rule now. You know say Ebin Pawon, Yan Jewon. You understand? Ebin Pawon, Yan Jewon. So me where are they like so Ebi Opami ya Ojemi, you all are in danger. So you can cause, make I give you cause, so if you say you go again, they think and plus the Ebi will go kill you. Everything insecurity everything go kill you. I go come add my own bad mouth join for you. You see, I don't join them. Plus, I don't add them for you. Me as I did so nothing will touch me. Well, but no worry, we did follow them. I won't need that.
It is well. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Let me take that one, okay? Brother.
All right.
So I think I have a charm on the line. Did I get you or did I lose? I think I did. Hello there.
Hello. Good evening.
Lady Charm. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm very well. You know, something is yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, right? I had this brunch time. I think it was 2 days ago. And then I just suddenly said, I said I will see everybody later in the evening. But then a moment later, I just said, no, I'm not seeing everybody later this evening. I will see you all tomorrow. So I'm taking a break. And somebody came and said, Mayegun, you are doing too much. You see, maybe you should just scrap this brunch time and give us the evening full loaded time. And I was like, you have no idea that the brunch time is to break it into 2. I have so much to share that doing it at once in the evening is almost not enough. But yeah, I understand the concern of people, right? But yeah, apart from that, I'm fine.
Uh,
Very much well. So what did you see tonight?
Glad to hear that. I think I was on that brunch time as well, but maybe I left before you said you were not going to come back in the afternoon because
No,
I know I was
I
back
didn't
there.
even say I won't come back. I just posted later that anyway, guys, I'm taking a break this evening.
Oh,
and then
okay.
somebody now said, Mayegun, you need, it's like you need this rest. Just keep giving us one show every day, and forget about this brunch time. I was like, oh, I mean, thank you very much for feeling concerned, but listen, it has nothing to do with what do you call it, like having 2 programs in the day, because I am somebody that you see, if I do something in the afternoon and I probably feel pretty much like engaged in the evening, I can cancel it and just tell everybody I'm sorry, I'm not coming there tonight. But it has nothing to do with doing too much, because the concept of the brunch time and the evening time is to spread it into 2, give more people opportunity to actually really have a chance of calling in and contributing. But it seems like some people feels like it's too much.
You're doing too much.
Yeah, you need to slow down. I was like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I think originally the brunch time actually had a format where you would give some news and then we would do some reading, which we haven't done in a while. But I think today we started with Dele Farotimi's book.
That could be us back reading again.
Yeah, and I hope that we will carry on reading, because I think the reading and gaining more knowledge and perspective and even history regarding where we are as a country.
Yes.
I think it's very necessary. So I mean, continue the good work that you do. A few things I wanted to touch on. Like it had to take Dele Farotimi to be incarcerated illegally, by this criminal judiciary once again, for people to have the spine to actually come out and say, okay, this is what has been going on, this is how rotten the judiciary is, these are the people who played a key part in the destruction of the judiciary and things like that.
That's right.
So it had to take someone of Dele Farotimi's standing to be able to get the ball rolling. And I don't know how anybody can come out and say something like, he's a criminal as well. Can you throw stones at a house?
I know.
Can somebody throw stones at a house, knowing fully well that the same stones can be aimed back at you? That doesn't make any kind of sense, right? So if you say he's a criminal, right? Afe Babalola and co could also throw the same stones at Dele Farotimi with receipts as well, right? So before you come out and you make those kind of salacious statements, why don't you, like the previous caller said, pick up the phone, call us and give us the receipts that you have before you start making those kind of stupid claims in platforms like that, because a lot of people can talk and they feel that nothing is going to happen to them, and that's the majority of Nigerians just come out and say something, meanwhile you have no proof.
Like just make some random allegations that they don't have to prove, and when you ask them to, they will begin to say, but they are all the same. Just like some people will jump on this platform and say, oh, Obi and them, they are all the same. I said, no, hang on. The guys
I think that would be
here that have stolen Nigeria dry. There are evidence of that. Now, don't just come on and just throw it and say because he's an elite like them, then he's also a thief. You have to give us evidence, and this is why.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why so many people have been able to, if they have anything on name, at least I will be one of those that will actually share that on this platform. But don't make things up, because we are not making things up about these guys. Everything that we said about them already in the public, they can be verified. So if you have anything that we don't know, you should lead us somewhere to see that, so that we can say, oh, yeah, it's true, it's like them. There are those who just want us to take it that way. Just take it, Jare.
No, you can't. No, not in this day and age where we're trying to, especially on this particular platform, where the platform is not just for information, it's also record keeping. Do you understand? That's why it's called a diary, okay?
Yes.
So that people can actually go back and see, like, okay, get information about something, and really, kind of like, hear the conversation about something.
Make up stories. I did not come here to make up allegations. If that's what I have been doing, a lot of you probably won't be here, right?
Yeah.
Whatever I say could be libelous, could be, defamatory if they are lies. But they are publicly available records that others can verify and say, oh, it's true.
You know?
Exactly. So, and I also wanted to touch on the people, talking about, oh yeah, people are angry, and rightfully so, because the economy is for shit at the moment, right?
It's biting.
But it still comes down to what Dele is talking about, the judiciary. And again, I'll always be thankful for your platform, because of your platform, initially I would say the politics is the problem with the country. But it's clear that not only is the politics a problem, but the thing that gave it the wings that it has on, right, is the judiciary. Because we have a failed judiciary, that is why politicians can get away with what they can get away with. And that is why the so-called security people can act with impunity, because they are angry. Imagine if you were angry and you had a judiciary that would take you to task because you took out your anger on innocent people, and for that you will go to jail. Wouldn't you learn to contain such anger? Would you go out there and be angry randomly and beating people up and that? Because you do it because there's nothing at the other side of it. No one is going to take you to task. No lawyer is going to take you to court, and anything will come out of it, right? So part of the problem is, again, as Dele said, the judiciary has enabled the impunity with which the security forces act, because there's no repercussion, there's nobody holding them accountable and things like that, right? So it's not just being angry. I think we should always start telling ourselves the truth of where the problem is and where we need to start sorting it out. I'll always be, and I'll say it in this because there's a sarcastic way, that I'm grateful for Tinubu's government, because if this Tinubu's government did not happen, right? All the things that have been unearthed since Tinubu became president of Nigeria, well, maybe it would have eventually been unearthed over a long period. People like people like Afe Babalola will probably have died, and
very good people.
Exactly, and died as very great people with a so-called legacy, which they are not even entitled to, because their legacy is built on criminality, And so it's things like this that I'm grateful for Tinubu's government for, because it allows Nigerians to see exactly where their problems are, and the people who need to be, taken held accountable for it. And for Peter Obi, I like Obi, I really do, right? But you see these things that he does, it gives me concern that he's not prepared to do what it takes to actually resolve the issues in Nigeria. And I said, you can't be a president. You can't desire to be a president, building your presidency on injustice. And there's so much injustice. Is he going to be talking about, judicial reforms from top to bottom? Is he going to, have the capacity to
judicial reform?
Exactly. Electoral reform, judicial reform. Those reforms that really matter, and don't talk to me about talking and turning night vigil into night sleep, or taking the country from consumption to production. When you have a rotten system that doesn't enable the right things to be done, but instead puts fear in the hearts of people, they don't have the capacity to do what is right. It's because of this impunity and the lack of judicial, responsibility. That's why we're here where we are. So if he's not going to be addressing those issues, and if people are, and again, I say this to say that if anybody is waiting for 2027, not this whole article, Athiefku, whatever, it's a bloody waste of time. It is a bloody waste of time. You should be talking about, all the things that we've uncovered now, how to ask for judicial reform, how to ask for electoral, and not just ask, demand it at this point in time. Otherwise,
to make sure that it is done.
Wasting our time.
Yeah. Not only that justice must be done, it must be seen to be done. That's actually what will make it pretty much like a serious, thing. Anything below that is just a deceit.
And these are things that you need to be telling people. Otherwise, don't give me the illusion of that you know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to do if you're not talking about scrapping the whole judiciary from stop to go. Ask everyone who is there to go. Their services are no longer required. And start to think about how you need to fill that up. When you fill it up, you talk about the constitution, you talk about the electoral reforms and things like that. Then we can start talking about, production to consumption to production and and all of that business.
You are a child.
Let me go.
Thank you.
Other people can call in.
Again, okay.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by, ma'am. And you have a very good evening, right? So did I get it? Okay. I think I have another caller there.
This is a quick reminder. We only have less than 20 minutes to go. We will likely still be able to take another 2, 3, or 4 calls if we manage the time very well. As for you that has been here all evening, remember, you need to actually like the broadcast to show that you have been part of this chat enough or long enough, okay? And then make sure you subscribe as well. Set your notification on. You don't want to miss the remainder part of the Dele Farotimi's book reading, which we are going to do tomorrow. You don't want to miss that, do you? So if you haven't subscribed onto Mayegun's Diary Political, do it now, at least for the fact that you do not want to miss this. If you joined us this afternoon, you will know what I'm talking about. Here is a caller on the line. Hello. Did I get you? Or did I just lose you? I'll just take another one. Yes, here. Hello there.
Hello, man.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening. How was your day?
Good evening, sir. Well, my day has been busy, as usual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm almost at the tail end of it anyway. So thanks so much for asking. How's your day?
Please recommend this your barber to most of us that don't have hair anymore. He did good job.
Tell me about. So you want? We can do hair transplant these days. You know that. I know you can have this. Oh, come on. Anyway, thank you, Baba.
We're too old for that. When you're in your 60s, hair transplant don't work.
Transplant, and you can look 40 again. Why not? You can easily just give you 20 years a look. Like reduce it. I'm waiting for the time I'm going to be bored as well, because it's likely going to happen. It's just a matter of time, you know.
Anyway,
it's been a busy day.
I can see. I saw your reading this afternoon while I was in the office doing some meetings. I was listening to it on my head. It's quite interesting, lovely. I'm waiting for the last part tomorrow.
We all are.
However, I'm going to say something very, very controversial today. Yeah.
As always, please go ahead.
Obi will never be president of Nigeria. For anybody waiting for Obi to be president of Nigeria, is wasting his time.
I mean, it's a long shot.
Obi reminds me of John the Baptist that was screaming in the wilderness. He's only there to make, like what you're doing now, Obi is there to make it bigger inside the political cycle, but in a subtle way. Obi coming out amplified what you people, what you're doing, and other media like you are doing. Thiefnubu government coming in shows a rot in the system, just like your last caller said. It also begins to make people, young people begin to question, like we are in our 50s and 60s, think that people like Arebaba Lola were like geniuses, like Falana were geniuses.
How come I read to a lot of people?
I read all this book. I wanted to be a lawyer. I couldn't pass it, but this guy just passed it. They were great. But now when you come to look at it, like, wait, you're actually better than these people. Just the system was already rigged against you. And that is why most people in Nigeria do Yahoo, because the system is rigged against them. And if somebody had the opportunity, they should go and listen to the book reading earlier. If not because Farotimi's mom was subsidizing his living, what would have happened to that man if he had changed his skill set to the negative side? People don't think about that. Nobody willing.
He repeatedly told us, what he didn't tell us was like, which I later grasped from that reading, was that his mom was not even living in Nigeria. Right?
Thank you.
So it was easier for his mom to be funding his lifestyle where money never became an issue for him or the motivating factor anymore. It was about that law, using the law and becoming a lawyer was his priority. So when he was offered huge amount of money at the time, it was not a motivation for him.
Thank you. And that is what I said the other day. If you remember when I called, I said, we need to get to a point in society where our conscience overrides our stomach infrastructure. That is what people think, that he is rare. It's not that he's rare. He had a support system. It's some of the things you do through Yoruba Nation. You send people money, you do things. you are removing people from the consciousness of thinking, you know what, I'm a carpenter, I know how to break somebody's door. But because my uncle give me regular income or my auntie give me regular income, let me continue looking for a job in the right way than going to do armed robbery at night. Because the same skill set can be used in the negative set.
Yes.
That's what. And Nigeria has got to a point where the people that have the negative mindset of using their skill set have gone to the point of power, control power, and are now making it a universal law. One thing I would like you to do at some point, if you have the time through the reading, if you're going to continue doing the reading,
yep,
I need you to take time and go through the states and find out why the states were created. You begin to understand where the problem of Nigeria started. Because anything not created for the right reason will be used for the negative reasons. For example, if you want to do a constitution, when you start doing constitution is subject to referendum.
Yes.
Tell me any Nigerian constitution that is subject to referendum and tell me the impact of that constitution.
None.
The 1967 constitution was subject to referendum. Did you see how the regional system worked? It worked because the people were buying. Jonathan Obasanjo tried to do constitutional conference. 3rd term. He wasn't made. Jonathan decided
not to get term, so he just abolished or like discontinued the content of that conference.
Jonathan came in, did the same thing.
Same.
Wanted to,
and he himself said until he comes back for the 2nd term, he won't implement the content of it, and he never came back.
Thank you. Those begin to tell you that anything that has to do with the masses, they try to blackmail the masses. When it gets to something that has to do with masses, they'll give you a condition. If you don't re-elect me, I don't do what you need.
I'm not going to implement it.
While when it's something that concerns them, within minutes it get passed, like the national anthem.
That's it.
How many readings did he do? Did you see how they're dragging the tax law now? It's going to affect a lot of people in a positive way. Yeah, even though it's going to be manipulated, but it's going to begin to remove certain things in a way that you begin to know, okay, who is responsible for X, Y, and Z. It's going to take them time because it affects the masses. But if it's to allocate money, like budget, party, 2 days is finished. Nobody bothered to check everything there. And that is why I say Obi can never be president. And I'm happy that Thiefnubu became president. Because he becoming a president shows the rot in the system, how bad it is. Before you are looking for others, I say, maybe it's just the police, or yeah, maybe just the police. He never get to the army, or he hasn't got to the navy, or now you are beginning to realize even your neighbor is part of it.
It's like a conglomeration.
If you even want to see the worst part, go to Nigeria, enter a local flight. When you're entering a local flight, dress nice. As you're entering the local flight, you will see somebody standing in front of the door telling your guy, find me something. You paid flight ticket, you paid for your baggage, but they will be by the door telling you, oh, guy, you must find me something to enter. That's you're going to board. You're about to board. And that can actually mess up your whole plan for the board. So it's a very, very bad place they are, but it's good that we see it, because I think in the years gone by, during Jonathan, them and other people were thinking, oh, the corruption is just ministers, it's just a few people, it's bad egg in ministerial appointments. Now you're beginning to see that it's a cultural thing. And like I said the other day, I say, you're beginning to see the names of the warlords that are controlling different sectors. Ekiti now we know is Afeba and another. You go to Rivers, you have Wike. You come to Lagos, you have Thiefnubu dynasty. Very soon they will begin to name. You begin to see who and who control where.
Yes.
And by the time they finish making themselves known,
you see Gandola. When you go to Kaduna, you see Erufaya, you see all their crook. When you go to all these places, even Bauchi, you see Bulkachuwas and co. Everywhere.
Thank you. You need to know your enemy and you know how to attack them. That is what they are doing under Thiefnubu. They are bringing themselves out because they are showing that, okay, we've got to the top now. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. And that's what I said from the beginning of this broadcast as well. Like, listen, Nigeria has problems. Nigeria have a lot of problems. But don't just say Nigeria have problems. We need to know the faces, the names behind all these problems and what role they played. So that when you are looking to pray against Nigeria problems, you can possibly use their faces and their names in which you don't even need to pray against that. You can go for them. That's the difference on Mayegun's Diary Political. Thank you very much once again. Okay, let me take another one before we wrap it up this night. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You enjoy the rest of the evening. So now I am going to, I think, did I get this? I think I just did. Let's see. Hello there.
Padiola here. How are you?
I am very well. Chief Adeola from Canada. How are you doing today, sir?
Thank you. I'm well. How are you?
Well,
good job. I listened to the.
It's been a busy day.
I listened to the morning.
Yes, sir.
And I listened to now. For the past 3 days.
Yes, sir.
I've been analyzing things here. See, it takes a man like I call him now Jagaban of corrupt judicial system in Nigeria to fast track a case that is arranged for tomorrow to today.
You know,
and have a hearing done very early in the morning, giving bail.
Yes.
To our dear
and
Dele.
It was done, sir, within 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
That's right.
The fastest
so
ever.
He has confirmed that he runs things. Now we know. But here is the deal, though. And I want you to, let's put a thought to it.
Yes, sir.
The bail condition is 50 million.
That's right.
They know Dele will raise the money, but I will wish Dele will not raise the money. The Dele should stay with them there. Dele is looking for a way. Dele is a smart guy.
Yes.
They cannot withstand quality brain in Nigeria. They kill it. This is Dele's only chance. He looked forward to it. Now he has it. Dele need to speak his mind to the world. You see, once Dele is out of there, they will continue to postpone the court case. And Dele, under that kind of condition, cannot speak to anybody again because the case is on. Dele needs to have a flaw.
Keep him short, yeah?
It's a way to keep him short. It's a great gift. Dele need to speak his mind, and I know Dele will speak his mind. Nigeria needs to hear Dele speak about his book and speak more about the rots that he has been talking about beyond his books. Beyond his books. Dele must speak. Dele is injured personally. Dele's career. You see, when you were reading the book, we will conclude the book tomorrow.
That's right.
Dele is detailing his ordeal, his passion for the profession that he chose to pursue, and some people frustrated Dele all corners of his career. They constituted a ring around Dele. He was red circled, and the people behind this thing are getting promotion. They are the former CJN. They are getting paid. They are cashing out on that bad system. Dele need the floor to speak. Dele must get his floor to speak. They are jittery now because, the way things are going, it's become a very hot potato for everybody now. They are jittery. The whole intention was to lock Dele away. Just like they shut the door against him in his profession. They want to lock him away. But the word they promoted, it backfired in a very serious way. Now Dele have to leave, but he mustn't talk again. That is what they are working on. Dele must be given a chance to talk. We don't need Dele. Dele is ready for detention. Dele cannot forget about the cause. Yes. Is to dehumanize Dele. Once Dele is out of this, he's going to sue Afeba Balola again, personally, for the damages. Dele must find a way to get a floor to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for actually adding that. Indeed, I didn't really see it from that perspective. It is true. You see, it is like a Greek gift. Let's give him bail and continue to adjourn the case. In that regard, he would not be able to speak again on it because it will be, sort of extrajudicial, something. They have a name for it. But here, hello.
Hello, Baba Mayigu. What's
Hey, Elder, but you prefer to be called Comrade. Comrade Akinola, sir.
up?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm blessed. So, kata don't happen, no.
Tell us about it. It's been
Okay.
a hot week.
Hot. Absolutely. But the one that is hotter is brewing beneath us. You see this Dele Farotimi, that one is small, though.
Right.
What is coming? We need to really, brace ourselves up. Look,
tell us about
you see what happened in you see this Assad. You see what happened in Syria?
Yep.
Yes.
I realized
this is
that the whole thing is not even over. I thought the whole thing would be simmered. The moment Assad left. But now Israel and others are shooting and firing into Damascus right now. Tell us what you know.
Now you're getting the picture. So this is what's going on. It's all these terrorists, ISIS, or whatever they call it, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. These are backed by America all along. So all these Boko Haram you're seeing in Nigeria, they've always been backed by America and the French. In disguise, all this Boko Haram business, no, they're the one behind it. You see, and all this new one that is coming up. So my own concern now, where we are talking about fraud in all this election or no election, absolutely. Look, can you imagine if a terrorist is taking over a whole nation like Syria? Syria is a militarized country, militarized country. How do I pronounce that? If you understand, they have been always military inclined. And you can imagine people who have been fighting back to the days of the biblical period.
I think I get your drift.
So
7 years ago, the person that is now considered the leader of Syria was a terrorist declared by America.
Can you imagine?
Today is now being projected as a moderate Muslim and all of that. So if we have this kind of terrorists in Nigeria as well, how long is it going to take for them to overrun Nigeria? And they
overrun Nigeria.
In years to come, they may become revolutionaries. Is that your point?
Absolutely. So that's my point, and it's worse than that. But what's happening is that, you see, in Syria, we need to understand why they're in Syria. It's about resources. Syria has loads of gas.
Yes.
Loads of gas, which in Golan and all the places like that. Nigeria too has loads of gas. So we have what the Western people, what they need, what they wanted. So all this Boko Haram is a way to get rid of us. But, it's a bit tricky. They are coming, because they say French are dropping weapons. And the same thing in Sahel. That's what this Burkina Faso saw. They hang on. While they are busy communicating that there's a problem, they saw the French dropping weapons and food. You understand? Because they are doing it overnight. We don't have very good security. All these drones that they're saying they are having behind us, that they're coming to look at, it's a lie. They're using the drone to monitor that you are not looking. They drop weapons for these people. They're going to overrun us. So this is the problem for Nigeria now. We are going to be facing terrorist issue. And the whole essence is that they want our resources. And once the terrorists get rid of our government, it's chaos. You see? And we should be worried about this. You see? But it's good that we should be worried. So how do we get over this? If they can close down all the military bases in some West African region, that would be the key. Sahel, so West Africa, this Ghana that they want to go and give US military, whatever, is a no. And all this drone business that they're moving from Niger, it's just, we need to kick them out. Then that's East Africa. Kenya giving is a no. So the issue is we need to get a strong UN that consists of young people, not all these old politicians like the Jagabano, all those Jagaban in Cameroon, Jagaban in Nigeria. We need to get rid of them fast. Otherwise, we're going to be slaves forever. Thank you, Mayigo.
Thank you very much, comrade. Right, your own perspective there is like a geopolitics. Interesting. Enjoy the rest of the evening, sir.
Coming to Nigeria.
Yes, sir. So, thank you very much, everyone. Indeed, it's been a long, busy day. We've had a lot of expose, charts, starting with the Judiciary of Nigeria that is currently going through a serious scrutiny. So the political class, the establishments that are now using their power of suppression and oppression to hold those who they considered as the threat to the establishment. See how they can either jail them, hold them at bay, and keep them shut. But there's one thing that I want all of us to remember. The people that are holding Nigeria down, they're not holding it down because they love Nigeria. They're not holding it down because they believe they can, and with no consequences. But we are the victims of that holding down. Our future, generations here and generations yet unborn, we are the victims of all these conspiracies. And if a system is built to make us subjects and not citizens, the ideal thing is for us to collectively agree to break it up. Now, we may not have all it takes to do that right now, but we must also not deny ourselves the truth by living the lie that has been told again and again and again when it is not working, and we are not allowed to actually decide how we want it to be. Then there's no point in holding on to that lie and repeating it. If you have been told these lies for long, it's not a good thing for you to repeat the same lies to your own children. If you are somehow believing that you are now older enough that you are weaker, you can't really fight anymore, you don't have that much fight in you. The ideal thing is for you not to stop the younger generation that want to fight. So the most you can do for us is not to gaslight us, blackmail us, and demand respect for those who have no respect for us. Nigeria is not working. We know why. And we know those behind it. There are those benefiting from it. If you are not benefiting from the rot, there's no point in you enabling it by discouraging those who have discovered why we are not benefiting and we will never benefit. The rotten one Nigeria is not for your own good. It's not for my own good. And if it's not working for you, there's no chance that it's going to work for your children or your children's children. So that is why when you join Mayegun's Diary Political, you should please learn one thing: never to lie to yourself. Because one day, we are going to have that critical mass that will challenge this establishment, the status quo. This contraption will be renegotiated. So when that time comes, you should be on the side of history, on our side. And please, if the lies they told you since your birth till now never do you, Mayegun's Diary Political is to remind you that enough. Do not help them spread these lies. Nigeria is not one country. Yes, it can be only if the occupants, the inhabitants are allowed, right, to decide that. Do we want to be one country under this arrangement? No. But do you still want to be one country under the arrangement of yours, mine? Well, maybe. But until we are given that chance to choose, there is no point in repeating the fact or the lies of those who have kept Nigeria for themselves, their children and their children's children. Don't die living that lie. Maybe now that you are here, you could probably be an agent of that change. We want something different, and we will get something different. The moment we all agree that this one is fraud. Thank you so much for joining me today. From the afternoon till now. I intend to be back again tomorrow to continue and complete the reading of the best-selling book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. Don't wait till you become a victim before you speak up. Do not join the bandwagon of the oppressors. Do not join the bandwagon of the voluntary slaves. Yes, if indeed we are Nigerians, then we must have the chance, the choice to decide where we want to belong. After all, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your own evening. Stay safe and keep it simple. I will see you again tomorrow. Inshallah. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Máyégún Diary Political. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó. Máyégún Diary Náíbì number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Ayé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.